There are some studies out there that indicate that women are a little bit better at multitasking than men. This might make sense again if we go back from an evolutionary perspective when we look at the fact that women would have had to maybe pick the berries while making sure that the children were okay. They had to do several things at once. Men, it seems like they're not that great at it. What they had to do, like I said before, is they would have to accomplish one big task and they would go out and they would try and get that done and they'd come back with the results. But if they multitasked and tried to focus on too many things, they wouldn't get any one of those things done. And again, it could have led to something like death, or it could have led to something just a really low quality result. What's going on, everyone? My name is Spencer. Welcome back to the Must Become YouTube channel. I believe that what you can become, you must become. That means that any potential you may have kicking around in that personality of yours, it's your obligation to bring that to the forefront. Today, we're going to talk about something that I wish I had known when I was younger. Again, I do a lot of videos where I start off like this and I talk about things that I wish I had known that would have helped me so much, especially with my productivity and my creativity. And this is a really, really big one. This is about understanding exactly the way attention works and how to direct your attention on the things that you want to get accomplished in your day, in your week, in your month, in your quarter, etc., etc., etc. So this one, I'll present the actual problem that a lot of people have not heard put in these terms, and I'm going to give you guys the solution that will actually allow you guys to remedy that issue. So let me just describe the situation real quick. How many times have you guys started to sit down reading a book, or you're writing an essay for school, let's say, or you're doing something for work, where you're going to write some copy for an email or for a web page? You start writing and your Asana tasks go off, or your Discord server gives you notification, or your phone rings, or someone knocks at the door. These millions of things that end up distracting you. A lot of people will talk about these and not put an actual name to them. And when you don't put a name to this sort of issue, what happens is you don't really realize that all these things are connected. And all of them are training your brain to be something that it's not designed to be. You're training your nurture against your nature. And I'll go into a little bit more of detail so you can understand exactly what I'm getting at. When you sit down to accomplish a task and there's something that you actually want to get done, and every single time there's a distraction, if you honor that distraction, you're beginning to train your brain to be better and better at multitasking. The thing is, though, is that most guys are not supposed to be good at multitasking. If we look at the way we would have evolved through our evolution, we would have had one task that we're really trying to accomplish, and if we fucked that up, that may have meant that we would have died. For example, if we were hunting a buffalo, there's 4 or 5 guys, they're hunting a buffalo, they got spears in hand, they're ready to go. If one of those guys got distracted, then they may have let the rest of the team down, which would lead to ultimate failure. They wouldn't have got the food, and maybe even worse, someone could have got injured on the way. And guys, this is the same thing in business. Now we have tools like project management and people that are specifically designed to keep people accountable. However, if someone lets us down, when we're really looking to make some big waves in business, we're looking to have a big impact, we have to make sure everyone's on the same channel. Everyone's headspace is in the same spot. But of course, shit happens and people get distracted, but that is because we're beginning to train our brains more and more to be distracted. From a more individual perspective, a lot of things today require, more so than our intelligence, our focus. This is something that I cannot stress enough. So many people talk about intelligence. They care about the IQ tests. They care about these sort of things. But even Robin Sharma says that in today's day and age, our focus is even more important than our intelligence. Okay, so I can't stress that enough, guys. Even though you're really, really smart, if you can't direct that intelligence at an intentional time towards an intentional goal, it doesn't really matter. I can't tell you how many broke, lazy, and ultimately lame men there are out there who are really intelligent, but they never figured out a way to focus their attention on the thing at hand. And that is such an important skill. And I'll tell you the main reason why. Like I said before, it's because we're practicing how to focus our attention on multiple things as opposed to directing it onto one thing. We're doing this thing where we're trying to go against nature and we're trying to nurture our brains to be able to multitask. And there are some studies out there that indicate that women are a little bit better at multitasking than men. This might make sense again if we go back from an evolutionary perspective when we look at the fact that women would have had to maybe pick the berries while making sure that the children were okay. They had to do several things at once. Men, it seems like they're not that great at it. What they had to do, like I said before, is they would have to accomplish one big task and they would go out and they would try and get that done and they'd come back with the results. But if they multitasked and tried to focus on too many things, they wouldn't get any one of those things done. And again, it could have led to something like death, or it could have led to something just a really low quality result. So that's still here today. And I'm going to put a name to this issue. I'm going to put a name to all the times that you're doing one thing, you're trying to focus on one thing and something else steals you and puts your attention somewhere else. I'm going to give it a name so you guys understand when this is happening and you guys can recognize this in terms of a phenomenon. So I'm not the first person to say this, but it's called attention residue, okay? Attention residue. It's the idea that when you give attention to something and then you give attention to something else, when you come back to that original thing, you're not 100% there. And the reason why is because you left a little bit of your attention residue or your focus residue on that other thing. So let me give you an example, okay? You're sitting down and you're trying to read a book that's going to help you with your business or with your fitness or something like that. Your goal really is to put some time into really understanding some important materials that will then bring you back to a result. So that, again, like I said, that could be increasing revenue, that could be losing fat, that could be building muscle, any of these things. But what happens is when you sit down, you have 15 minutes, you start reading, it takes about 10, 15 minutes to actually get fully engaged with the subject. You'll notice that a lot of people say, I don't like reading books. Well, one of the main reasons they don't like reading books is because they never allow themselves the time to actually be fully engaged with the content. And for the whole time, they're thinking to themselves, fuck, I hate this shit. I don't want to be doing this. Why am I doing this? I don't like books. They keep telling themselves and reinforcing that belief. I don't like books. But that's because they never gave themselves that actual 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes or so to really allow all of their brain to really give attention to this one task at hand. But now let's say that, okay, you begin reading this book and, oh, your phone rings. Okay, so you answer your phone, you say, oh, hello, gotta take this call, blah, 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 blah. You do what you gotta do. And then you go back to your book. Now, the issue is that it took you 10, 15 minutes to get into the book and get this level of focus that you need to actually engage with the material and have it be a useful experience for you, right? But the problem is that because you picked up your phone, you're leaving some attention residue on that phone. So you're not gonna come back to this book at 100% focus or even 90% focus. You're gonna have some of your attention, it could be in the forefront of your brain or the back of your brain on that call you just had. Oh man, did I say the right thing? Or okay, well, I gotta take care of that. I gotta put that task into Asana. I gotta put that task on Discord and let my editor know, or I gotta let somebody else know, someone on my project manager know, whatever it is. The problem is that when you do that, you're not returning to your book with the kind of focus that you need. Now, you do this again and again and again, and let's say you read for 2 hours. You didn't really get the experience of reading for 2 hours because every 10 minutes, you're getting a call, you're getting a notification, you're getting a text, you're getting a knock on the door, you're getting whatever it is that you're actually paying attention to, and you're leaving attention residue on all of these things. So you don't actually get the high quality result that you're looking for when you go and initiate whatever it is that you're trying to do. Again, like I keep saying, it could be reading a book, it could be writing some copy, it could be making a sales call, it could be anything like that. You need to be really in the zone and focused. Now, if you do that every 10 minutes, then if you do a little bit of simple math, you realize that you're never fully focused on what you're doing. This is a huge problem. This is holding so many people back because let me return to what I said a moment ago. It's not about your intelligence, guys. It's about your focus. Intelligence is important, but there's a reason why the people who study really hard, there's a reason why they do well. And it's not because they're super, super smart. Follow some simple logic here. Let's say you get more intelligent by reading books, okay? You get more and more and more intelligent by reading books. It's not intelligence that's gonna have you actually going through each one of these books and understanding this better than somebody else. Might help to a degree, but it'll help way more if you have the focus. And in a way, it's like mental dedication to sticking to what it is and understanding this concept of attention residue. And that's exactly why I bring it up. Like I said before, if you are able to give this phenomenon a name, then it's no longer a mystery what's happening. Every single time you're dedicated to doing work and you get a notification or you get something that distracts you, you now have an understanding of this phenomenon that you can identify and say, oh, no, not doing that. You can begin to nurture your brain the way nature intended it. You can begin to have really, really strong strengths, which is focus, because your brain is supposed to focus, like I said before, but the more we try and train it to multitask, we're going against nature. And you'll find that it's kind of like a muscle. It's kind of like going to the gym. It's kind of like, I actually had somebody ask me yesterday, one of our employees asked us, how is it that you're able to focus for as long as you do? This is a true story, by the way. You know, I'm not the best at focusing and I'm nothing special. The reason why I'm able to do it is because I did it like I go to the gym. I go to the gym and I have this idea of progressive overload. Bit after bit after bit, I invest time in building my focus. I actually have like a training regimen where what I do is I sit down and I know I have 30 minutes to focus. Okay, for that 30 minutes, I'm gonna do nothing other than focus. And it's really difficult sometimes because obviously there'll be employees in the office or there'll be calls and notifications. Everything that I mentioned comes from my personal experience, like Asana, Discord, calls, knocks at the door, doorbell, etc., etc. This all comes from personal experience. But really what I did was I have my headphones on, I have some white noise blasting. If that works for you, you can listen to anything that you want if it helps you. I would suggest nothing with words in it because that can be very distracting in and of itself. But instrumentals are great if you like music. What you're gonna do is you're gonna focus for that 30 minutes and it's gonna be hard. Go somewhere else in the office or go at home. Go somewhere where, again, you can isolate yourself if you need to. Set a timer, that's great. And then you know you're at 30 minutes. It's that same thing as watching the weights go up and up. I don't put random weights on the bar. Especially, imagine putting a random weight on one side of the bar and another random weight on the other side of the bar. It would be completely wonky and completely lopsided. You don't want that, right? You need to know exactly what the specific weights are. It's the same thing here. You want to know exactly how much time you're focusing for so that the next time you come in or next week or next month, you can put it at 1 minute longer and you're training your attention longer and longer and longer. So now after a bit of time of doing this, you get to what now I'm doing, which is what I call this is focus tunnels, okay? Or productivity tunnels. Now, I didn't coin this term. This is something that I believe Andrew Huberman said. He said focus tunnels or productivity tunnels. And the way this works is you take 90 minutes, okay? That's not what I'm at. I do it in about 90-minute segments. And again, as you'll see here in a moment, this is nurture working with nature. So what you do is you take these 90 minutes, which science indicates is the most amount of time that really brains can super lock down on a task without getting distracted just kind of inherently. So you're gonna lock down on this task and you're gonna do it for 90 minutes. And what I mean when I say lock down is your phone goes on airplane mode or off. I would actually suggest off, because even airplane mode has too much temptation. At least when you turn it off, you have to fully boot it back up in order for you to go and look at your notifications instead of just hitting a little button on your screen. I would turn it completely off. Phone off for 90 minutes. You know exactly what you want to get accomplished, or exactly the task at hand that you're really going to dedicate yourself to for the full 90 minutes. So you're going to do that. Andrew Huberman even talks about not even taking bathroom breaks. This is a kind of interesting idea. I actually began to agree with it. And the reason why is because you think when you really need to take a piss, right? You think you're like, oh, I need to go to the washroom so bad. You're in that car riding to go to the washroom so bad. It's all you can focus on. And he explains that there's a sense of alertness to doing this. And so when you have this sense of alertness, it's actually can really help you focus, because as soon as you begin to kind of recognize that if you have to, you can go to the bathroom. You're not in like a panic the same way as when you're in a car. But anyway, when you're in a car or when you're doing something where you have no access to a bathroom, when you do that, you're actually able to have a sense of alertness in case you're getting a little bit tired or whatever. That might actually help you a little bit more than if you just went straight to the bathroom. It also allows you to really continue to focus on the one thing, continue to do the one thing, because you know you're not getting out of that seat. Or if you're at a standing desk, which I also recommend, you're not going to move from that desk. So these productivity or focus tunnels are really, really important, where you know what you want to accomplish and you have that 90 minutes where nothing is going to have you move. There could be a nuclear bomb that goes off in your backyard and you're not going to move because you're going to read this book. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this brought you guys some value. Again, here we talked about attention residue and how to point out exactly when that's occurring so that you can begin to actually stop it in its tracks. Attention residue, and we talked about the solution to attention residue and the solution to losing attention residue, which is using these productivity or focus tunnels, where you just kind of tunnel vision, you put the blinders on, you don't let anything distract you, and you get that task accomplished. With that said, guys, my name is Spencer. This was the Must Become YouTube channel. If you like this content, please give me a like on the way out. It really helps me with the algorithms and helps let people know that there's some value here that they might be able to use in their own lives. I don't ask for anything in return, only the like, and maybe give me a little subscribe if you want to see more content, which I put out regularly, both shorts and long form videos. Okay, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.